All right. Hi, everyone. This is Jonathan Quack here for Owner Circle. And what we are going to do today is we're going to have a lot of fun because I'm inviting two amazing entrepreneurs who's coming over to share with you guys on how did they innovate during crisis. Now, this is what we call the Innovating in Crisis series, where we are not going to talk about ideas, we're not going to talk about opinions, we are not going to talk about suggestions. But what we are truly doing is we are talking about entrepreneurs who have real experiences. They want to share their real challenges on how did they achieve real results. So if you guys are an entrepreneur, this is a must-watch show for the next 1 hour. And if you guys are aspiring entrepreneurs, you probably want to learn from them on how did they manage to pivot and innovate during this crisis. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite the first gentleman up into this room with me. His name is Jon Lai. He's a serial entrepreneur, very strong in e-commerce. You probably heard some of the brands that he has run. One of them is John Livia. Another one which he created this year is called the Perfect Derma. So I'm going to invite Jon on live with us, right? So to be sharing with you guys about his journey. Jon, come on up.
Hi everyone. Hi John. Thanks for bringing me on the show. Thank you so much.
All right. So besides Jon, I'm going to have another very handsome gentleman as well, another entrepreneur who is into the glasses business. So you probably see me wearing glasses today. I bought these glasses from him. This is what we call a Blu-ray glass. But what he primarily do is he run a glasses business where they focus on an omni-channel model, an online to offline model. So another successful entrepreneur who have successfully pivoted during this crisis. So I'm going to invite Tai Hau.
Hi guys, Tai Hau here from Pott Glasses. Thanks for such a nice introduction from Jon.
Hi Tai Hau.
All right.
Hi.
So I met both Jon and Tai Hau last year. No, I think I met Jon last year and then I met Tai Hau this year. I met them both in the Owner Circle Business Fast Track Masterclass, and after that, I've seen how they have grown. And today really is to be able to bring them to add value to everyone here to share with you guys their experiences. They are very smart individuals who have their very own thoughts on how they do certain things. I personally learned a lot from both of them as well. Right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get Jon Lai to introduce yourself first. Share with us what do you do, and what have you been doing so far. Right. Okay, Jon.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you very much. I have always been dabbling in the world, in the era of e-commerce and social commerce, internet selling since the very early Groupon days, and that was actually about like 6-7 years ago. And one of the very first brand that I have actually created online was actually John Livia, which entered into the market pioneering hot pants that allowed women to slim down. And along the way, it actually branched out into a range of different healthwares with specific functions. And somewhere along the year of 2018, I discovered an opportunity from the group of customers that I've been dealing with very frequently. And that was something like a back support braces that we were selling in John Lai. So I decided to work with a really huge Facebook sensational celebrity who is called Master Chris Leong to launch on a solution that allows people to relieve back pain in 15 minutes itself. And moving forward, so I've always been the kind of people with a really keen internet marketing mindset who are tapping on the existing market on whichever they need and try to offer a solution to the market by using my way of my way of internet marketing that scales and brand the business at the same time. So my latest venture is called the Perfect Derma, where it was dealing with people who have skin condition problems, and we are into our 4th month right now, and I'm pretty happy with the progress that we're making so far. Yeah, thanks. That's all from my side.
All right, so don't share too much yet. I want you to share your results later on. I'm gonna go to Tai Hau right now, and Tai Hau is an amazing entrepreneur running Pott Glasses business. Share with us a bit about Pott Glasses.
All right. So I just do a very quick one. So when we first founded Pott Glasses, we actually wanted to do an online glasses store. That was back in 2015. But back then the idea of buying things online, especially buying glasses online, didn't take off. So we kind of have the idea, still have the idea in mind, but we forced to open our first outlet. And since then, we always have been doing online and offline, on and offline. Although back then, still not a lot of people do online glasses store or rather Facebook marketing and all these things. But we have always been that has always been what we are doing lah. So then fast forward, every year we open another outlet. So to date, we have 4 outlets in Klang Valley. All the transactions are still happen offline, which is at our physical stores. So in online, we just have a very good presence, but we could not get any transaction online during all this long. So what we do is, apart from selling glasses, we provide advice, recommendation, because when it comes to buying glasses, style is very important. That's what we reckon. And a lot of people do not know how to choose glasses. So this is the kind of advice we have our optical stylist to help you to choose glasses based on your style and all these things. Yep. So that's from me.
Okay, so we have John, who has always been online, and Tai Hau wanted to go online, but because the market wasn't ready, so Tai Hau went offline. Okay, so John, back to you now. When I got to know you, I heard about you even before I met you, because you've been known as an e-commerce maverick. And what happened was, when we met, I remember you were going through certain challenges in your business. So at this point of time, when people want to go online, you are one person who has been online all this while, made your millions online, but you faced certain challenges while you were online, and then you pivoted. So I'll let you to share. No, I love this to be as raw and as real as possible. What was the biggest challenge that you were facing when you were online?
Sure. So do I get my picture? Just to make sure. Do I get my, sorry. So when I started, when I went into Kiper, which was in 2018 itself, right? I had experiences of, so back in 2017, I actually had a team of 27 people. And every single month itself, we were going down one by one. Basically, people were just leaving the team. And we went from 27 people in 2017 all the way to basically 12 people left in the company. And while that departure of all these people leaving was certainly heartbreaking, but it was actually a needed departure from all this staff who left. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be able to afford their salary. So in 2018, for Jon Lai itself, basically in that year, I took a major loan, a business loan of 1 million ringgit from Maybank, just so that we can continually finance the business to keep it going. While previously itself, we were actually quite net positive gain every single month. But back in 2017, we were making about 7 mil in revenue, but on our P&L, we were only doing about 5% of net profit. So you could imagine, from someone who is very online-minded, who's always on the e-commerce side, but who's trying to find the best way to increase profit, but end up running a company that only ends up with 5% profit margin in that whole year. It's pretty stressful, because as our business grow bigger, we went into different kind of burdens. So the first burden itself is I have always figured that the more headcount the company has, that would mean the more revenue that one single person is going to generate. And I always thought that an extra SKU in the company, an extra SKUs in the company would be equivalent to also an extra revenue in the company. So all I was doing every single month was just keep adding people and adding another new line of product. And it was until the beginning of 2018 that we realized that it was Chinese New Year. So during Chinese New Year itself, we had a major problem where basically China actually goes for holiday for 1 month. And during that one particular month, it would mean that you have to buy in advance of the stocks that you have for about 2 months. And instantly, because of the very keen net profit that we were doing, we ran into a cash flow issue, which ended up with me getting a loan just to buy stock. So long story short, we went into a spiral of bad cycle of things just because we went from a profitable company into a company that survives because of money from loan. And if the loan was to put into good use, that means was to, say for example, was to invest into goods, into better R&D, into better branding, into better investment of training of people, that would have yielded towards something. But for me, I was always only spending money just to keep the company afloat. So I would do whatever it takes to spend the loan money just to keep the company afloat. While it might not make a very good business sense, but to me, as long as I don't lose the business, that was my aim. So as you can see in this graph itself here, because we are an internet-based company, we are an e-commerce company. So obviously, the ads performance is a big part of what we do. Every single flow, every single process would have to take into account of how much of investment on ads do we have to put in today, and then how much return do we have to get out of that particular process, and also how much of a repeat customer that's coming out of it. But those weren't the metrics that I was looking into. Instead, I went into getting a more fancy office, a more fancy factory, a bigger factory, and even get to retail, which wasn't really my forte. Even get into human management problem, thinking about how to create like a different sales system for offline people to sell to people who are based offline. So I was being spread out very thin, not really focusing on what was the one core factor that could make me excel. I was plainly losing it. I wasn't even touching the thing that I love the most, which is internet marketing. I was just being so caught up with, let's say, investing onto a big ads campaign, a big marketing campaign, getting paying up for influencers, paying up for artists, just so that we can make a hit, make a bang in the market itself. I was just spending very unnecessarily, just so that I could get an edge in the game. But I was completely losing sight of what really matters itself. So we were getting a whole lot of different kind of products just to get the sales coming in, just to keep things going. So as you can see here, so because of this process, we don't have anything that we were particularly strong at all. The cost of our products weren't particularly low because we weren't focused on one single product that allowed us to actually get a benefit of a better MOQ or lower price or faster churn rate. Because we were spreading so thin, right, we were doing all kinds of products under Jon Lai itself. So I have really lost in terms of higher costs of goods, and then I wasn't focusing on marketing and creative side. So our ad spend actually became much more expensive, and much more expensive, and our margin from thin gets into thinner. And since the return of the ads itself wasn't so great, the sales dropped. And because we were not being focused on getting good products in focusing on like smaller varieties of products, our reviews actually tank. And because of reviews tanking, we were constantly relying on just pure ads, like ads on steroids, just to get more traffic in. So as you can see, this whole thing becomes a very vicious cycle that turned us from a company which was a 7 million strong down to a 2-3 million strong company. So and needless to say, from the team who were working with Jon and myself, they were always having office conflicts. They were always having demotivated because they were seeing a drop of sales and more people are coming in. They couldn't even control. They wouldn't even get along with people who come in. So all this add up to this very vicious bad cycle back in 2018. Yeah, that was.
Isn't that? Yeah, that's what everyone is doing. Everyone is looking into how do you leverage on influencer marketing to create a bang, and everyone was purely relying on Facebook ads, knowing that Facebook ads cost is increasing drastically.
True, that is precisely true. But the one main problem was that, see, just because you are doing something, it doesn't mean you're optimizing it. Just because you exist doesn't mean just because you exist, just because business exists, doesn't mean people have to pay you money for a transaction. There are a lot of things that, because of internet now, you get to read data. And because of this data, you get to optimize how you want to make your next move. Say, for example, I might not need to open retail at all. I will just say approach customers and ask them, hey, if I go into retail, I will probably need to be spending about 200-300K extra. And although you could go in there and experience and get short script, would you rather pay that kind of additional money instead of, hey, you buy from me online right now, and then I give you some other added value services just because I have saved on that 200-300K of renovation and rental? Which would you rather choose as a consumer? So,
of course, to save money. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was our problem. We think that just because businesses grow, have to include that more people coming in, and that have to include you going online, offline, maybe open up like, for my case, this is what I do, but I don't speak for everyone. So like for most, like just because businesses grow, have to just because other businesses grow with more people, more shops, and more expenses and more unnecessary liabilities, don't mean that is the path that I need to be going through. I was just too caught up with the idea.
Yep. So you're saying that you were online, you went offline because you want to create more credibility, you want to create more emotional connection with your customers. But what happened was when you went offline, it didn't really help anyway.
No.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Exactly right.
Okay. Interesting. So I'd like to hear from Tai Hau. Tai Hau wanted to start online, but went offline, and then offline worked out for you, right? So what was the challenges that you're facing then? I think Tai Hau has a very different set of challenges.
Yep. So when it comes to glasses itself, to be frank, it took me, I think, close to 2 years to realize that ours is a product/service industry. So we always thought that glasses is just a product industry, but service plays a very important role in when it comes to buying glasses. So that is why consumer just cannot buy glasses without trying them, or without first is without trying them. That part can be solved somehow, but second, it's because it involves eye test. So that part is just like you can't cut your hair without going to your hairdresser. So it's just very hard to do that. But after 2 years, we realized that okay, we are in a product service industry. So which means that with die, we also have to have a outlet. But how do we maximize our return? So we need to incentivize our consumer that such that they are willing to travel instead of us opening a lot of outlets at the entire Klang Valley. We need to find way to make them come to us, willing to come to us. So all these are the value added things that we're trying to do. Because having shop lots, because we are only in shop lots, and to be frank, we really wanted to go into shopping mall. It's so tempting. I tell you, looking at their revenue itself is just so tempting. But we know that we do not know how to play the games of shopping malls because leasing is one thing. We don't have the negotiation power. MOQ, as in the range of product, is another thing. And third is the capital that we need to tahan. That one we don't have. So we really wanted to open a flagship store in one of the well-known shopping malls. There are only 4, Sunway, Pavilion, Mid Valley, KLCC, and 1U, 5, to be frank. So, but the rentals was so high, so we stick to our neighborhood plan. So we open at all the neighborhoods, and then we try all sorts of things to get customers to visit us. So, but throughout these 5 years, we do try a lot of different methods to educate as well as change consumer behavior. And I came to realize that this is the most, redundant thing to do, to be frank. You want to change consumer behavior, it's impossible. Consumer behavior is very intuitive, one thing. And second, in order for it to be intuitive, you really need to spend a lot of money. So might as well just let other people to do so. So what we do smartly is we control our fixed expenses, and as much as possible try to maximize that outlet output. So initially we have only one person in one outlet. That's how we do. We run on a very lean operations. Then we have 2, then we have 3, then we have 4 actually. We can sustain 4 people, and there are single outlets that perform very well. They can have 10 opticians in one outlet. So which means that the upfront is very low, but still they are able to do a lot of sales, because eventually it's still the service, and I'm still cracking the code for the service thing. Yeah. So then
one question, right? Just a moment. You see, you were wanting to do online. You went offline because you realized that glasses is a service plus product. That's the reason why people buy, right? You open a neighborhood mall, which obviously the traffic is not as great as the big 5 shopping malls.
Sorry,
so
John,
what's
just neighborhood shop lot, not even mall.
Oh, neighborhood shop lot. Okay,
Yeah.
so you definitely don't have that kind of traffic like what the big boys have at the mall.
No.
So do you see yourself more of the reason why people buy is because of the online or the offline or both?
Come again, sorry.
What's the main reason why people buy from you over the big boys? When you were starting initially? Yeah.
Okay, I think we reckon that there are few type of consumer. There are people who buy glasses because mall is everything. There are people who buy glasses in mall because mall is close by. They have to pass by mall. So these are 2 kind of people. And for us, it's there are also people who want to buy glasses at just a neighborhood. So we look at this group of people, and then we actually want to position ourselves as the reliable neighborhood optical store for you. So from then onwards, we didn't really go and fight with mall and try to capture this kind of market, but rather we want to serve neighborhood market. So what good thing is that, of course, initially it takes quite a bit of effort to recognize that and to also target this group of people. But we do get quite a good referral in this sense, and from here onwards that will be trace secret.
Okay, what did you do right then? There's a reason why people refer to you. What did you do right?
I think that will go to recognizing the values that we provide as well as the USP, and then we only then plus proper marketing, the funnel way things. So because in malls, from what I understand is that not a lot of them go through funnel, do marketing kind of things because they rely a lot on offline traffic. But for us, it's always understanding the entire consumer journey, find the customer online, and then slowly feed them so that they eventually convert offline. So to me, there's no secret or anything, but it's always funnel. Yeah, it's just one kind of message that we want to tell the publics. Yeah.
All right, so it's an online and offline combination. It's omni-channel model.
Yes. So because you have to understand that we don't maximum. I think we can get 3 most in walk-in traffic. The good day was I think last year or 2 years ago in Subang when bubble tea was so hot. Even then, when the entire street is packed, you don't really get a lot of people walk in to buy glasses. So we have to find our traffic online and then make them to come to our outlet. So it's a combination.
Okay, so back to okay. All right, so back to my question, right? Of what's the challenges that you face? Because the fact that you guys are online to offline, you guys are service industry more ahead of product industry, not ahead of product, right? So now that COVID-19 is taking place, people can no longer come. How do you provide the service? Before I talk about that, what was the challenge that you're facing?
I think there are 2 challenges. Mind to share my screen. I think the challenge number 1 is let me see. I need to see the screen before I. Challenge number 1 is this: people cannot visit us to try and buy glasses, because if to buy glasses online, it's still not that matured. People still do not know what size, like S, M, L kind of things. They still want to try glasses. You can ask these 2 gentlemen. Know that I have online stores. Still want to come to my store. So still want to try glasses. A lot of people still want to try glasses, to be frank. So we try to decode why people want to try glasses. So this is challenge number 1 that we face. They just want to try glasses. And challenge number 2, it's really as you can see, these are people buy glasses. But challenge number 2 is there's no reason for people to buy glasses during COVID or during pandemic, during this MCO. But thankfully, glasses is still a essential product. So somehow, instead of buying for style, there must be some other reasons that people want to buy glasses during a certain period. So it took us some time to find the demand, what are the needs or the demand for people to buy glasses. So these are the 2 challenges that we face, because we are not grocery, we are not essential service, we are not this. So if you can't open shop, it literally means that we are dead, regardless of how many online leads we have, how much exposure online we have. We could not deliver our products, we are literally dead. So these are the 2 challenges that I faced during MCO.
All right. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go to Jon Lai right now. Okay. As what John was sharing is last year when he was running the e-commerce business, this was the team. John, just a question. Why your team all girls?
Well,
you're the. Huh?
I'm born that way.
Oh, okay. So this was the team. Yeah, so this was the previous team, right?
It doesn't reflect.
Huh?
It doesn't really reflect what happened in real life.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, okay. I just very amazed why your team all girls one. Yeah. So you were facing challenges back then, and then after that, you knew that this was the spiral that you were dropping into. This was the rabbit hole. Then what was the shift that you made? Right. I have 2 questions for you. I believe that you made few shifts. One shift I met you when you came for Owner Circle, and very often when people come to Owner Circle because they're in trouble. First thing would be this: what was shift that you made when you were in owner circle, and then another one is what was the shift that you made from whatever realization that you have got out there. So we have actually Mandy who is saying she wants to join you. She's a lady.
Oh,
We have someone on the comment, Mandy Sarah. Oh, Yenny is also laughing. All right, so what was the shift that you made? What was the shift that you made?
the shift that I made was to eliminate all the girls on my team. Then we hire a bunch more other guys into the team. Okay,
So what happened to the girls?
to be quite frank, so my set of issues was a little bit different from what Tai Hau was facing. So the shift that I was making in 2019 was actually, so I was running Kiper products on itself, right? And Kiper is essentially a back braces product. So what happened was that the back braces product that we were selling, I was always looking for the next big thing of what this could potentially evolve into, and looking for more business model that can turn this into a recurring revenue model. Because ultimately, that's what all businesses should do, right? But I was searching high and low, and I couldn't find any. And instead of that, I got a lot of copycats because of how low the barrier of entry is to actually copy the products itself. So I get in touch with Jonathan on OC, and I thought of an idea of itself that is to, thanks to the advice from OC as well, that is to add the technology element into the product, to turn it into a variables. Because that's pretty much the hottest thing around at that time, right? So our idea was actually turning it into a support braces that allows the braces to also collect your posture data over the period of, let's say, 1 month, 2 months, or even 1 year. So while the idea sounds cool on its own, because finally, let's say physiotherapists can finally track the user's behavior just to see if there's any improvement of posture. So while the idea sounds cool on its own, but there was just so many parts about the idea that needed to be educated and solved. So Tai Hau pointed a very solid point earlier, right? When it comes to consumer behavior, whoever that tries to go into the market first and try to create a new market that has never existed before, and try to go through the effort to educate the market.
Good luck for him.
Huh?
Good luck for him.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally burning your money, like continuously burning your money, and then hoping that someday that the culture adopts a new way of wearing clothes, a new way of wearing bra, which is super ridiculous. So I came to that realization after talking to a lot of people, asking them if they would want this idea. And then I named them the price of how much this would cost them. And then I named them the process of how much this would involve. And every day in, day out, all I did was just solving problems. And the problems were not even essential. That leads to the company being able to sell and make a profit. It was just merely trying to educate, hey, this is good. All you have to do is just put this on for 4 hours a day. Hey, you put this 4 hours a day already, then your kids or your patients could go straight. So at the end of the day, right, it's not the being straight part that they want, because that can only be solved by your own habit. It's an instant solution, it's an instant fix that they are looking for. But consumers are not the people who sometimes know how to articulate what they really want to you. So sometimes just because your marketing is great, they buy the product, but doesn't mean they buy into the solution that you are selling to them. They just want to experience it firsthand, and then they realize, hey, this doesn't work out for me. But hey, you did a fantastic job in ads, in marketing, so I was sold. So as I was explaining the cycle, right, it goes back into a vicious cycle again. We were able to do good sales initially, and we were able to make an impact, make an impression, but it's just not something that was sustainable and long-term, because on its core, something was really wrong. So that was the problem that took me a while to realize while still running the business. It was exhausting at that point. Yeah, that was the experience.
All right, then, and what's the aha moment? What was the shift that you made?
The aha moment was I was very emo. I was always crying daily. So the aha moment was at the point
Because the girls left.
So the aha moment actually came when COVID came.
Okay.
So there are times where for myself as well, where people are left and stuck in a situation that they cannot maneuver, they cannot turn around, they cannot do this, and they cannot cut losses, they cannot cut people, they cannot cut anything at all. They just continually staying stuck because sometimes to give up takes up a lot of courage. I mean, that's just from me. So it was always hard to make a decision on whether do I want to cut this out, whether do I want to continue this on, because I put in so much effort. It's a brand that I've invested in, and although I'm not very much a brand person, so I don't speak for that. So and then although data is just showing you signs of this is bad, there's no healthy sign of where this would eventually lead to. But you just want to cling on to that hope that maybe someday, out of 100 things, you do one thing right and things will turn around just fine. So I was being hooked to that particular hope for a long time. But until COVID came, and COVID was like a big reset button. That is what I'm talking about, right? So if you can't make a decision on your own, somehow, somewhat, COVID made that decision for you. And that was my case, right? I don't have to make any decision. I'll just start. I'll just continue being stuck. I'll try and make marginal gain, marginal improvement, thinking that, hey, I get through this is going to go just well. But when COVID came, it's like no matter what I do, it doesn't matter anymore. I just have to do the most essential thing that makes sense, that contributes to what really matters. So instantaneously, I went into because I was exploring consumables for a long time, right? But I just couldn't have the confidence. You see, in my 8 years of internet marketing and running e-commerce business, I was never a kind of person who does consumables and cream and even things like that. Until I actually, so fortunately for me, I actually ran into a friend who also ran the kind of agency model turned into like the model that sells, that partners up with supplements manufacturer and sell supplements, which have an identical skill sets that I do as well. So when I look at him, when I hear his story, it suddenly dawned on me, right, that if I continue doing what I do, will I be seeing myself making, let's say, like this scaling of like few 100K extra a month, then getting the company to really making a profit of even 300K or so a month. And no matter how I look at the picture and try to draw up the blueprint in my mind, it just didn't happen. So instantaneously, I have to test run just another project again. But I can't do it with my existing team because the structure was just different. And I was just so fed up with having to have people to work in that particular position just because you tell them to. So I was doing what I was already doing in 2016. I was going back lean again. I talked to a friend. So I'm fortunate enough that I have a very dedicated, committed friend who was in the professional lines, who was quite willing to try out the entrepreneurial world. So I tell him, hey, I'm pretty stuck in what I do, but I cannot let it go. And now COVID is came. Then COVID is here. I practically need to start something. So this is a new project that I'm testing with all the failed examples and experiences that I've learned. So do you want to do this together with me? There will be no basic itself. And if the company makes money, you will get a profit share. And if the company doesn't make money, you will get nothing. And hearing that itself, he still has a job, obviously. So that was a form of security for him. But the idea of always wanting to try something excites him. And I worked out a model with him whereby he was still holding on his job, but he was super committed when he come in and take on this project with me. And ever since February itself, we did a way more powerful traction on our new project than my previous 2 companies combined. So I did have a really major realizations from this process itself.
How much was the sales?
So fortunately for us itself, when we started, we were doing 16K a month, which no-brainer, nothing we'll be talking about. And then we keep pushing on to 150 next month. And then on to third month was about 300K. And then this month itself, we are on par to be doing 400. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was really fortunate that even in our metrics itself, we have about 15% of repeat purchase rate. So
wow.
I always live in this fear, right? So I think Jon also understands this part of me very well. I always live in this fear whereby, am I again a one-hit wonder, whereby I'm just going to do this like for a few months and stuff, and then I'm going to flop? Or is this going to be a sustainable business that I finally nailed it? So every day, day in, day out, this was one single key message that I was constantly telling everyone. Because with this new team itself, we've got 6 people now. So we went from 0 in February to 6 people now. And everyone is taking I would say, a handsome pay every single month. And none of them actually have basics. And I was just telling them every single day itself that we are going to fail someday. This might not work someday. And this will only happen if we let one single customer maybe complain for more than 2-3 times itself without being attended to. So if that happened, you will probably lose the handsome pay that you're already getting every single month. So that gives me a direct liberty to actually say in their face that, hey, this is a very cruel and harsh fact, that if you can't make your areas work and I would have to do your shit job, that eventually this is gonna, again, fall, and then you have to go back to your shit job that pays you maybe peanuts salary. So it's become kind of like the arrangement of people that I work with are very self-initiated. And so every single day in, day out itself, we were only looking for the one particular percent of tweak that we can change. Maybe change a bit of how we market this, change a bit of how we write our copies, change a bit of how we can make the whole ordering system a bit more seamless. And basically, I'm proud to say that all 6 of them, 6 of us are very committed into the whole fine-tuning of every single process. Now, this is way different from my 2 years back when I had 27 people, right? So that was a year where everyone was just clocking in 8 o'clock and then trying to go back home at 5. While there were still some very committed people, but these people itself are always influenced by the majority who are not giving in to be doing their work. So I grew tired of actually managing team in that sense itself. So this is truly something that was pretty new to me, but it made a lot of sense. Because every time everyone's literally fighting for their own pay at the end of the month. Yeah.
So all of 6 of them totally new, including yourself, to this project.
Correct. Well, of course, me, I had my past experience carrying on.
Yeah.
All the rest of them, including my partner, have never done this before.
So all 5 of them totally new, never done this before. They come in with a entrepreneurship mindset, right? Entrepreneurship mindset. No basic salary, pure commission, result oriented.
Correct. Pure
We
profit and commission.
we say that this is one of the biggest reason why this project have succeeded.
Okay. To be fair, we have to start off with the right product. That is undebatable. Next, if you have the right product and everyone has the strongest self-initiative to make sure every single part of the business actually works, that has catapulted from all angles of us getting more reviews, of us getting more creative angles of how we want to write, of us actually serving customers better, of us actually building better communications among team to make it happy. I agree with you, John. That is definitely one of the key factors. But I would not. I would just like to say that first and foremost, you have to start with whichever category of business that you're in. See, if you fall into a wrong category of business that just constantly spinning in the wrong direction, no matter how cohesive and how strong-spirited the team is, the entire morale is still going to be impacted at the end of the day because there's no money in. That's from my angle. So while I agree that it is one of the core essence, but deciding on what category of products and services that you are serving should be the first thing to be looked into.
Yeah,
that is what I believe in.
So I'm going to say that very important is what kind of road do you want to choose first? Okay, the road that you will choose, the category. And then after choosing the road, the next question is how do you even build the structure, the remuneration structure where everyone comes in with the entrepreneur mindset rather than usually it's the entrepreneur himself and then the rest are employees taking orders. But in this case, it's like you set the category right, you set the road right, and then everyone come in with the whole mindset that, okay, if anyone slack, the whole team dies.
Yes.
Right. Cool. So if there's one takeaway I have from this session, well, from your shift is your shift changes when you realize that the category has to change because you were in a category that no matter how much effort you put in, because of the whole business, the model that you were in, because of the product nature, there's no way you can create such recurring income through repurchase, like what you said just now, 15%. Yep. So you made a shift. And once you made the shift, the second shift you made was the fact that the girls were just taking salaries and then saw that the boss was very handsome and just stay there and do nothing. 6 o'clock, go home. And then realize that, hey, guys, that's not the way.
Those people weren't in the pictures anymore. The ones who are left are really the good ones. So I'm also making similar arrangement for the group.
So some girls are still there.
Yeah, some committed ones still there, which I'm also trying to transform this new plan onto this team.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. All right, now to you, Tai Hau. Tai Hau is in a very different scenario. What's your shift? What was the shift that made that works?
The shift that makes that works. I would say prior to COVID, it's really understanding our actual value because it's very noisy in a market that if you do not know what you stand for and you do not know how you position yourself, you're always comparing with price, with different brands, with different people. And during OC, I think that the biggest takeaway from the OC, I'm not saying crisis innovations yet, but during OC, it's the positioning itself. So not this one yet, but we reckon that the best thing we can do, it's always service, it's always optical styling, even there's no. So I have to tell my team that this is who we are, this is what we stand for. You have to understand that people really buy glasses because of the style and everything. So then it took off very well. But during the entire MCO, because our previous business model is that we provide styling service, we provide CSR, a pair of glasses so will be donated to another individual. So actually that one wins a lot of people's hearts. But during MCO, all these things become very irrelevant, become very so it makes me feel very uncertain, and I do not know why people want to buy glasses anymore. So we have to really think, and then we start to break down the entire process. Is there any things that we can do during MCO when people cannot visit but still able to deliver everything that we do? So then it goes to come CIS, so all this reinvent, distribution, all these things. So the first things that we do is that we reinvent our product value. So instead of just shouting on style during MCO or post MCO, people don't talk so much about style anymore, but rather the product's qualities, and mainly it's because people the broken glasses market, people who have worn glasses for many years, then glasses suddenly snap and all these things. But so during MCO, this really keep us afloat. I wouldn't say that it will be very sustainable after this, but during MCO, this get us cash. So thankfully, otherwise, if we keep doing what we used to do, which was already correct, it still won't work out during MCO. So we focus on this broken glasses market. So what we do is that we actually make promise customer that we are able to deliver glasses within 5 hours, even the prescription glasses. So we go and collect their glasses, and then we have to think why, how can we increase the trust of people on our service, and why would they want to choose us? So we have to break down the buying process from, okay, people concerned about glasses style, glasses design, fitting, people concerned about prescriptions primarily, and how we can do that. And to be frank, this is very frugal. I wouldn't say that this is very tech. It's just we have to think, how do we deliver? So eventually we went to collect glasses. We get delivery boy to collect glasses and then bring to us. Then we follow the power. Then we send it back to them. So we didn't reinvent anything, but we reinvent the process. So this is what we did, right? Then the second thing would be, let me think. I have to see the slide. Sorry. Yeah, the experience. People want to know how glasses looks on them. Although this is the second point, but this is really useful because this reduces the friction of them making decisions. By having a virtual trial experience, they know that they know what to expect. So thankfully, this is part of my ambitions because I always want to bring this service online. So after years of doing R&D and stuff, prior to this, what we did is that I asked you to send me a photo, then I Photoshop glasses and send back to you. And that actually got a very good traction, and that is free because it's still within our own thing. It's just that to develop this software and stuff, it took us a lot of energy and resources. So eventually we found a way, and thankfully we launched it prior to MCO, and then this got a very good traction as well. So this is the second things that we do. It's not just bringing technology in, but rather to think, how can this technology help? Or rather, the fundamental problem of this is that people really want to try glasses. So people don't use try-on for the sake of using try-on. This thing has to be noble. This thing has to bring value and solve the problem, actually. So here comes the accuracy, the realisticness and everything. So and I hope that during this pandemic, it actually helps me to push this to allow people to adopt this faster. And the third thing is go back to business fundamental. We repurpose our asset. This one is very simple. We just get our team to create content. So initially, my team, we have only 3 marketings and 11 operational guy. But during CIS, what can these people do? So we just get them to create contents, blogs and stuff. So I think this one is simple. A lot of people will do that because we want to prepare for a longer road. And the last one, it's also very interesting. This is something that I really, really wanted to do for a very, very long time, for the longest time, because I've seen a lot of overseas brands. They actually sell all these anti-blue light glasses, and we just don't have enough time to develop this channel, or rather this product. But during crisis, John, you actually told us that, hey, why not sell contact lens and this blue light glasses? So while I was showering, then the idea came up, the aha moment. So I thought, okay, then we can do it here. And during crisis, it's about speed. So no longer fancy marketing, nice this and that. Just put the product there. Being able to identify the demand, you put the product there. It's so much better than having a very nice marketing campaigns and trying to figure out the demand over there. So for this one, demand spot on now. Then put the product on. Prior to this, we don't even have IP88, and then during MCO, I get IP88 and so that people will buy this thing faster. And yeah, we launched this. This one got a good traction. I think we got about 40 over pairs lah, so to say. It's about but because this is a product that everyone can wear, so we are looking for really a big numbers. This is pure product commerce game. But the recurring part, I will still need to find out how can we do the recurring parts. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think
still
these
remember. Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying Tai Hau? Sorry.
Yeah, I think these are the 4 biggest takes away for the CIS, because really have the big picture of to identify problems and to do all the R lah, redistribute, and then the last thing is relax.
Relax. So I still remember I contacted you because I was on Zoom call for like 8 to 9 hours a day, and my eyes was so tired. And I just called you. I said, hey, why don't you create the blue lens glasses? Because more and more people are on Facebook Live, more and more people are on Zoom. Why don't you create this? And you told me you already have it. And then I just bought, and I love this. I've been using this. You will share a bit about blue lens glasses.
Okay, so what blue lens glasses does is that I won't go into the technical parts, but the first thing is it reduce. So there's the blue lights from computer, which is very harmful. It's just like you apply sunscreen on your hand when you go out, because you want to protect your hands from the UV, but you don't actually feel it because it's just a protection layer. So same as the blue light glasses, actually filter off the blue lights. Something similar to UV, but it's of different wavelength. So that's one thing. And because we're able to filter this reduce the eye fatigue. And also another thing is that it helps you to sleep better, because blue light is supposed to appear during daytime. But because of computer screen, without the blue lights, your eyes still think that it's daytime, and there won't be this melatonin hormones comes out. So blue lights actually have this effect, but it's not a pain reliever. So a lot of people might have such high expectation, but it's more of a protection things and reduce and regulates things. So whether it's prescriptive or not prescriptive, it's very, very useful for, last time we say white collar, now I would say everyone, because of the amount of time that we spend on computer. Whether you have power or without power, this is really, really useful. And you can actually wear it with contact lens as well. Like contact lens power, then this one without power. So yeah.
Yep. I saw this top of priority matrix. Will you share about with this?
Priority. Okay, this is very fun to play around with, because instead of, okay, I'm more greedy. Not to say I'm more greedy, I would like to be as open as possible. So instead of me leading the team, I really want to get more ideas, and because we're on crowdsource idea, right? So during this MCO, we actually divided into 3 teams. Me and Hong in one team. Then we get another team 2 and team 3. So we say that, okay, the the crucial part now is to make money. I don't care what kind of products you want to sell or what kind of things that you want to do. You have the full authority. Instead of just sticking to what we used to do. Otherwise, everyone can come back and tell me how let's continue do styling, that kind of thing. So so me and Hong, we actually do the 5-hour glasses because we have to go to the shops and deliver the glasses, and that's what we can see. Then Team 2, why I put blue light glasses over here is because they're actually going to create affiliate marketing model on blue light glasses. So wow. It's not more of the product, it's more of the program itself, but it didn't take off, but at least we started something. So I think this is also a very good milestone we started, and then now we just need to think how to continue, because I really think that affiliate marketing is the way to go for a lot of at least it has to be part of the channel, part of the things to do. The third one is eye massager. I think this, if you were to ask us to think, we would confirm close this product one because it's very irrelevant. But so during the 10K challenge, it didn't take off, but somehow the ads algorithm is working well. We got a lot of inquiries on this. It just now it's just a matter of closure lah. So then when it comes to top priority metrics, for crucial period for such a short period of time, it's still the 5-hour glasses that makes sense, because that has the most margin. Then the next one will be computer glasses. Yep.
So it's really the ones which solves a certain pain that gives the best, solution, right? The 5-hour glasses is something which is something that's urgent, and that's the reason why people buy more. Compared to the eye massager, which is like a vitamin C. So you're comparing like a painkiller and also a vitamin C. Yeah. All right, cool. Guys, thank you guys so much for sharing over here. What I'm going to do is I will ask you one more question, because I know I've prepared a few questions. But what I'm going to do as well is I see so many of you guys who are here commenting. We have Jocelyn Key, who says that the boss is handsome. That definitely is one of the thing factor. So many hours spent at work for 5 days a week. So handsome boss is important and motivating. I don't know if he's talking about Jon Lai or not. Yeah, seems like he's talking about Jon Lai lah. Yeah, Jon Lai, you got any comments? Jon, you're on mute. Sorry, you're on mute. Yeah.
Sorry, is this question referring to me? Yeah, if it is, do you mind tagging me? Yeah, this is what the whole wide world to know about this.
I think she's referring to you.
Oh, okay. I'll just take it. So, I don't know about handsome, but I truly believe that personal influence and personal branding is one of the cheapest asset that is way being undervalued, way being underutilized right now. Not a big fan of brand. No, I'm not. I'm like John, who likes to debate and screw brand. No, I'm not a big fan of brand. But these days itself, right? I'm sorry, I actually got an idea from what you were just asking. So these days itself, everyone's online. But you have to realize one thing, right? That people who spend time online, right, they don't really like to go online just to buy things. But people spend time online actually for the sake of entertainment. So we got people who are scolding vulgars when they're doing live. We got people who are going naked, who are showing ladies who show cleavage when they go live. It's all part of entertainment. So I do not know that if having a handsome boss is going to be very beneficial in retaining staff, but I'm pretty sure if you are a handsome boss and then you would actually like to go online and talk on topics that matters to your crowd, like you are the authority on that particular topic and you talk on the topic on your crowd, I am sure that that is a sure win method for you to gain customers and gain talent. That is one thing I can be sure of.
Okay. So you're saying that handsome alone not enough?
Yeah, you need to show that you're handsome. You cannot hide it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys. I actually supposed to be 1 hour, but I have one last question, and what I'm gonna do is I still open to the floor for questions because these two guys are damn smart. They analyze a lot. These are people who don't just take what as it is. So what you want to do is do ask your questions on the comment section. Okay. So yeah. One last question for me before I throw to the floor. So Jocelyn is back and Chung Gyap is here. Yeah. Any words for Chung Gyap, Jon Lai? Okay, we'll go to that later on. But what we're doing right now is this. What's the biggest takeaway for 2020? I think this is such a challenging year for everyone out there, right? But for some of you, you're taking it at a breeze. For some of you, you know that this is still a challenge, but you kind of have certain things sorted out, right? So what's your biggest takeaway for 2020? Okay, now while they're answering, guys, you guys who are listening to this, I want you to share if you have any questions. Okay, please post on the comment box below. Right. So John first.
If I once wrote a post about for myself it's a self-realization again. So I once wrote a post about this is the year that even if you don't choose to do anything, the force of nature basically just rips you off of whatever that you have. So for me, the biggest takeaway is that you always have to identify from a personal level and from a business level, what is that irreplaceable USP and strength that you have as compared to your competitor and as compared to your counterparts. Because chances are, the conventional kind of business advices may not be applicable to you if you do not know like what you can actually go well with it. So yeah, this is another quote that I actually came out, that I actually searched online, and then I fully agree with it. That sometimes it takes courage to give up on things that you've been holding on to than to keep going. And to do that, right, because I am really such a poor manager that dealing with people, managing people, it's seriously the one thing that could cripple me. So I know what I'm good at, but I also know what are the things that could completely cripple me. That would take my attention from doing the one thing that matters, that could make the business work. So I came to learn of this thing called amoeba organization structure. And I do not know whether do I do it right in that way, whether do I relate in such a sense. But I've seen people done it. I've seen my friends done it. I've seen myself putting it into work that it truly works. So what amoeba means, right, is to have an organization of people working with you, but they are sort of like an entrepreneur mindset, whereby, see, for example, your accounting team could be one single business unit by its own. Your marketing team could be one business unit by its own. And these people are intermovable. And they always have their own profit and bottom line that they need to be caring about, because otherwise it just means there is no money to their pocket at the end of the day. So everyone is equally concerned about the overall health status of their company. And I truly believe in times like this, in a COVID-19 kind of situation, this is something that is truly essential. Because just like the quote, like what Tai Hau also mentioned in this post some time ago, that even if the boss, if the owners itself see the opportunity to pivot or to just close the business and build again to another kind of business, it doesn't mean that your people, your team, your colleague, your staff have what it takes to follow through all the transformation that is needed with that kind of pivot. Like, for example, a cyber cafe in times of crisis would need to be renting computers out. So you can imagine you have to literally get your people to be moving computers and parts into deliveries and vans. And your people who are on cashier, all of a sudden right now, they are not working on cashiers anymore. They are doing packing. They are dismantling computer parts. And a lot of times, a lot of stuff are not willing to go through with you. So this is truly my biggest takeaway for the whole of 2020, that if you can work in a structure whereby it's lean, but it doesn't constantly add burdens to the company when you grow in terms of headcount, I believe that is the kind of work of the future that everyone should really give a thought or two, which is something I'm definitely embracing for this year. Yeah, that would be the biggest takeaway from my side. Can't hear.
Can't hear. No, cannot. John?
Oh, sorry, I'm unmute. Okay, let me unmute. So we have Pungyap who and Mandy who says totally agree with you. Yeah, so I think this is really the future of work, because this is coming to a time where we are going through what we call decentralization. Centralization means everyone is centralized in place, and decentralization is where everyone is distributed. You add in your strength, and then if you can contribute to that project, you share a profit of it. Yeah. So I do think this is really the future of how things are going to take place. Especially with a lot of technologies coming up, it's getting easier for that to take place. Yeah, I'm very surprised that you are already doing it in Malaysia, because this is one of those ways you can see it overseas, you can see in other countries, but you are truly running it in Malaysia already. So kudos to you, man. Yeah. So Jocelyn is saying that totally agree with you. Somehow Jocelyn always agree with everything with you. So he's saying that every department in an organization should be a business unit by itself. And this is what I believe in, what I call the Jeff Bezos Amazon way of running business. Every unit has to be able to have the ability to finish one pizza. If you have more than one pizza, you probably got two big teams, right? So I firmly believe today in every unit, you maximum have 5 to 6 people. That's it. Okay. If you want to have another team, that should be another total different set of team myself. Right. So for yourself, how about yourself? Yeah. I hope you guys are gaining so much share. That there's so much wisdom in this room right here. I know you guys are looking at these two handsome gentlemen. Not only they're handsome, they're pretty smart as well. We have heard from Jon Lai. Let's hear from Tai Hau. What's your biggest takeaway this year?
I think the biggest takeaway is you have to realize that everything has changed. And this is what I've always been telling myself. And not only that I'm telling myself, I'm actually telling people to remind myself that, because as much as we have pivoted and tried new things, I'm still very open to different ideas, because only when I can answer to myself, then I will think that will be the way to go. I'll go full throttle on that. Yeah, I would say that this is also very important, is because I really do not want to just pivot into another business. To be frank, we are really looking to grab as much market share as possible. So because we see that our product is still, there will still be demand. And it's just the way we do it, the way we deliver the products, and how we position ourselves, that one will have to change. Whether we want to open new outlets or how are we going to expand on all these things. So when it comes to pivoting, it's always pivot while staying relevant, because we really want people to know that during MCO, Pott glasses is relevant. During MCO, Pott glasses is the optical shop to go after. And after MCO, this will be our loyal customer. This will be the sticky. People will talk about us. So, and then back to 2020s, I think the goal will remain the same, but the measure, the method will be different. Very, very different. To be frank, if today you would tell me, let's try another new things, I will go all in, but I'm really open to the idea, which is why affiliate market, we won't think of affiliate marketing for glasses business and profit sharing, like what John has mentioned. But the thing about this is sometimes you really have to, instead of you telling the team about, instead of you sharing all these things to the teams, it's really, sometimes it's really luck to find people who have the same thoughts, and then they come in. It's much better than you going to change the entire things. But we really think that if you don't change, then you'll be changed lah. So I foresee that retail business will change, and I am very optimistic that we are able to conquer. Hopefully, finger crossed.
Yeah. So truly agree with you. This is one of my quotes since I went through my biggest crisis 5 years ago. If you don't change, you will be changed. And this is something I'm reminding every single one in Owner Circle, everyone who is not even in Owner Circle. As long as you're an entrepreneur, you got to understand that, especially in current times when doing MCO versus CMCO itself is so different. God knows what's going to happen after 9th of June. A lot of change is going to take place. All right, so guys, first of all, I will thank both of you for taking a Friday evening with me. I know very often, most of the Friday evening, you guys will be out there drinking, hanging out there. So, but you guys are here with me to add value, massive value. I hope everyone who's listening to this has gained tremendous value. Few things you guys want to take note of is this is Tai Hau's contact, founder of Grasses. If you guys know that there's any possibilities of you collaborating with him, right? This is his contact. And also for
Pastor John, you want to write with you, right?
Yeah, for Jon Lai's one. Yeah, Jon Lai's one. Any special contact you will give Jon Lai?
It's fine for now. Thanks.
So for once contact you want to do is go and check out his Facebook. Check out Tai Hau's Facebook as well. One thing I love about both of them is they are philosophical. They think a lot. There's so much wisdom in their mind, and they are very articulative. So they do share a lot of their thoughts on their social media. Do keep in touch with them, learn from them as we all learn together. All right. So everyone stay safe, stay strong. I know that times are tough, but we are in this together. Okay. So thank you guys so much. Been such a pleasure to speak to both of you on a Friday night.
Thank you
I
so
look
much.
forward.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so till then, I see you guys again. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye bye.
哦，现在我跟你啊。